predominantly Latino. In 2018, their one polling place was moved to the outskirts of town.
Even if they wanted to go out and vote, it would be so inconvenient and out of the way.
Next time on The World, how voting rights activists fought back and defeated efforts there and around the U.S. to suppress the Latino vote. That plus the news on The World.
Join us for The World this evening from 8 to 9 on WHYY.
This is WHYY-FM Philadelphia, WNJN-FM 89.7 Atlantic City, WNJZ 90.3 Cape May Courthouse, WNJV-FM 89.3 Bridgeton, WNJM 89.9 Manahawkin, and WNJS-FM 88.1 Berlin.
Deep down inside, there was a joy that black people would stand up, have the audacity to stand up and push back.
Los Angeles revisits its history of racial tensions as demonstrations continue across the country. It's Friday, June 5th, and this is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Elsa Chang. And I'm Sarah McCammon. Coming up, President Trump takes a victory lap after a new jobs report shows signs of improvement amid the pandemic and nationwide protests.
Hopefully George is looking down right now and saying this is a great thing that's happening for our country. This is a great day for him. It's a great day for everybody.
And we go behind the scenes with a network that's keeping protesters fed, hydrated, and safe.
They're out there risking their lives on the front line, resisting the police. So if they don't have to leave the front because they have what they need, then we have accomplished what we need to do.
First, the news. Live from NPR News, I'm Lakshmi Singh. Police in Minneapolis are now formally barred from using chokeholds to restrain a suspect. NPR's David Schaefer reports the city council, which is moving to make sweeping reforms in the troubled police department, acted more than a week after George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed under the strain of a police officer's knee.
The city council action bans police officers from the use of all neck restraints and chokeholds for any reason. It also requires any officer who observes another officer using a chokehold or any other unauthorized use of force to intervene, and they must report it to their commander. The council is also restricting the use of chemical agents, rubber bullets, flashbangs, batons, and other weapons of crowd control during protests and demonstrations, allowing them only when authorized by the chief of police. These are the first Minneapolis police reform steps in the wake of widespread and sometimes violent protests over the police killing of George Floyd, an officer seen on video kneeling on Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes. David Schaefer, NPR News, Minneapolis.
Civil rights activists are keeping up their protests for racial justice across the country. National Guard forces will remain in Washington, D.C., but NPR's Greg Myrie reports the Pentagon has decided to send troops called to the D.C. region in recent days back to their bases.
Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy says all 900 active-duty military police who were brought to the outskirts of Washington are going back to their home bases. In addition, 700 members of the 82nd Airborne were ordered back to Fort Bragg, North Carolina yesterday. As protests escalated over the police killing of George Floyd, the troops were brought onto bases in Virginia and Maryland, just outside the capital, but they never entered the city. The National Guard forces, which have been operating in Washington, will remain for now. Washington has had protests and some looting this week, but the demonstrations have been peaceful for the past several days. Greg Myrie, NPR News, Washington.
The president's political standing is suffering, according to a new NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll. Details from NPR's Domenico Montanaro.
41% of Americans approve of the job Trump is doing as president, but 55% now disapprove. That's a near record high disapproval rating. Beneath those numbers, the intensity of disapproval is notable. Almost half of people in this country, 47%, now say they strongly disapprove of the job the president is doing. And in a head-to-head general election matchup, Trump is losing to presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden 50 to 43%. Domenico Montanaro, NPR News, Washington.
The May jobs report took many economists by surprise. The Labor Department says the economy added 2.5 million jobs last month. The unemployment rate fell to 13.3%. The data suggesting more people went back to work during the widespread reopenings during the coronavirus pandemic. This is NPR.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Heller, WHYY News. It's 4:04.